poppin', y'all? This is Deidre with One Shot Game, man. You already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. Now, as I always say, you get two choices: the ability to faithfully settle in the life that has been set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great, and even the ones behind the scenes, I see y'all too. So look, the title of this video is going to be on the fact that the heart and logic both play a part spiritually in producing the results needed to sufficiently have a good outcome for the world, But when one or the other is not involved, it creates a silent war. And you have to look at it in a way that, you know what I'm saying, from an understanding that businesses are spiritual. You know what I'm saying? So everything created in the world is based off of a spiritual return in every aspect of everything. You know what I'm saying? Friendships, relationships, situationships, businesses, right? So oftentimes they have a certain result they need spiritually to get a profitable refund on their, spiritual investment. So for instance, I'm going to use an example. Say for instance, you are a, business investor. You have all this money and you invest in, for example, say like homeless shelters. You know what I'm saying? The mission is to get everybody off the street, to combat homelessness, and get them into a position to where, everyone is happy because the homeless people are not on the street, right? But in a spiritual sense, if you present that motto, but on the back end, your intentions are not directed towards that, you have an ulterior motive, you will not get the refund on your spiritual investment. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking from a regular perspective as well as spiritual, right? So say you have now opened up, these businesses, these people are coming in. I feel as if people with dark intentions use it as a form of mind control. You know what I'm saying? We are fully well aware of the fact that people are going to start, becoming aware of who they truly are, aside from having their basic needs snatched from them. So the mission is to get them there, enforce control, dangle over their head the basic necessities of what they need in life to get them to conform. You know what I'm saying? Do not allow them to be able to have the ability to open their mind to be able to see what's really going on, because then you will not get the return back on your investment, right? So that's the mission. The mission is, get everybody together, get them motivated and off the streets. But because, we're not producing the results that we said we were going to give them, and we're moving in a different direction, it's actually helping these people, wake up to what's truly going on. Now we're not getting the investment back on what we decided to invest in in a spiritual way, because the people are not producing the results that we thought we were going to get. They're having the ability to see through the illusion. They're fighting back, you know what I'm saying? And we're not getting what we want. So now the people with good intentions start to pull back, you know what I'm saying? And these businesses start to cripple. You know what I'm saying? And the people that were funding them and putting their money into them are starting to turn into these people that are basically getting angry because they're not producing the results that the person said that they would, by controlling the masses of the mind. You know what I'm saying? If you get people to think a certain way, we get the results that we're looking for, and then we'll get a return on our investment. But imagine if you're a top earner or you're a top head of a corporation and that was your motto. You know what I'm saying? This whole time is you having the ability to control people's minds, to get them to do what you want so that your investments will have a profitable return, right? But when these people wake up and they see that they're only being controlled, like, I'm being controlled to do a certain thing, but I'm not going to get what I'm told I'm going to get. I'm just getting told that to be able to do what they want me to do to help benefit them. So right when you get into doing everything and you feel as if you're awarded something and you don't get that, they pull the rug from under you. Now you're stuck in this loop of trying to, you know what I'm saying, get whatever it is that you're trying to get on your own. And now you see how that fuels into them and not necessarily fueling into you. And I feel like that's logic and business without the heart. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really think about it, me personally, I don't want nobody to be on the street. Being on the street, being homeless with nothing to eat, no shelter, like, come on. You know what I'm saying? I don't think nobody should live like that. But then you got to think about it. There are people that make profitable money off of people thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you add your heart into it, as well as your logic, you know what I'm saying? Think of how you'll make a lot more money like that. You know what I'm saying? Because people won't have to worry about their basic necessities. They'll be able to put their mind into something that produces a substantial amount of money by the way it treats people, by the services it gives, that people will want to pour into that. It won't be a forced thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think. If I don't have a mind, I'm usually forced into thinking something. You know what I'm saying? Forced into believing this instead of letting me have my own mind to do what I want. You know what I'm saying? If it benefits me like you said it would, and everybody wins, right? But if it only benefits you and not me, then I lose. And then it makes me not want to, you know what I'm saying, go forward with whatever business, you feel me, mind frame you're supposed to have. You know what I'm saying? So from a perspective of understanding, like for me personally, I truly believe that a lot of people are coerced into being controlled mentally to think a certain way so that it benefits the people that are able to feel as if they can still do that without producing certain results. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, how long do you think people are supposed to be able to do and understand, you feel me, certain things, but they're not getting the results of what they've been said they were going to get, that people are going to follow that? Eventually, at some point, they're eventually going to start using their own mind, you know what I'm saying, and thinking for themselves. And you got to think how the person who's running that starts to lose control because it's not producing the results that it said it would. So you got to think energetically. Sometimes those people get mad. They start snatching things. Oh, you don't want I'm not producing this spiritually. I'm taking this. I'm taking that. But again, no one truly wants to explain the truth. They feel as if we blame it on somebody, we push the narrative, we make it go this way, then people won't think that it's really us. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, it's a lot bigger than what people think it is, especially when it comes to humanity. If we all put ourselves in the same box and realize that we all need to eat, we all need shelter, we all got to come from a compassionate heart of understanding, think of how the world will flow more efficiently like that. It won't be a need for having to worry about if your investment is going to return, because it will, because people will feel like people care. People will feel like, okay, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to get what I want out of this instead of feeling like I'm not. You know what I'm saying? You got to really think of how the flow is just effective. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm starting to look at it in a different way. And I see that, you know, some people are big investors into things, but their intentions are not good. You know what I'm saying? They're only in it for themselves, not for the benefit of other people. So when you can't control these people's minds and they start waking up and seeing how it's only for the benefit of for the system and not them, how long do you think people are going to actually spiritually give you back what you think you're going to get? And you got to think, the people who invested in that now thinking, I'm not getting what you said you promised me, so I'm going to snatch my money away from that, and it falls down and it cripples. But there are a lot of things out there that are trying to point it in a certain narrative, like, you know what I'm saying, it's homeless people's fault, they doing this. Not. Have y'all ever considered or wondered why people become homeless? Because again, life is spiritual. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to explain to people who are not spiritual, but I think now is the time where people are becoming more spiritual. Some people didn't become homeless because they decided to, you feel me, do this and go backwards. Sometimes they did exactly what they were supposed to do, but there were people who were controlling certain systems that pulled the rug from under them because they knew if they had the ability to think for themselves, everything will be revealed. You know what I'm saying? And my investments into controlling the people's minds won't work because they'll wake up as well as other people will start to wake up because it's a domino effect. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it's crazy how many people do things from a logical business standpoint instead of using their heart. When you don't have a heart for nothing, it's all about you and what you want. You know what I'm saying? And when you can't get it out of that way by controlling people, you start to get mad and upset. So you start to take everything back, or you start to lose everything that you once had because people are starting to see you for real. You know what I'm saying? And then everything starts to fall down. Everything you invested in, everything you put money in, you know what I'm saying, starts to not flow effectively because the real you started to be displayed. As easily as it is now to see, it wasn't as easy because you were using it in a way where it caught people to be disillusioned. Like, if I tell you gonna get this, I be nice and I play it in a way where you can't spiritually see my intentions for real behind the scenes. That's why it's business meetings, it's conversations that happen behind the masses back. Therefore, you can't see the real intentions of what is really meant for this situation. Because I need to be able to convince you that it's this way. You know what I'm saying? It gets tricky. It gets tricky in this life. But if you want to save yourself, you got to be able to see through it. Otherwise, it's a dog-eat-dog world. And everybody is out for something and not to be their true selves. You got to really think. If you open your eyes and look, you can see that majority of people that are wealthy and rich in life are now flipping the tables. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to trick the masses into, you know what I'm saying, tricking them off their pain and their you know what I'm saying, their lack of resources, so therefore they can convince these people, you know what I'm saying, that it's them, instead of realizing like their business is spiritually feeding off of the minds of people that are inadequate. You know what I'm saying? The ability to actually see the real picture because your mind brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? So listen, the benefits of being able to see the world for what it really is mean you have to open your brain and be able to speak the truth and be able to not be afraid to let people know what's really going on. Otherwise, the world is going to flow off of certain systems being incapacitated, not having the ability to think for yourself, seeing it for what it really is. There are people that are spiritually feeding off of you. That's why a lot of people, should I say, from my culture have been taught to be homeless, drug addicts, and now they're catching illnesses and being sick because we're having the ability to see now. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they never wanted because there are so many businesses that survived off of our mental state. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, it's way bigger than what y'all think it is. Every business in the world is profitable off of us spiritually being asleep. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so spiritual like that. And they go for your basic needs. They go for your emotions. You know what I'm saying? They're there to trigger you. They're there to play off of the things you love most to get you in a certain mind state to where you close down so that their business could still be spiritually profitable. But if you go against all that, you know what I'm saying, and you don't need none of that, because you're living in your purpose, you know what I'm saying, and your purpose is to wake everybody else up to, you know what I'm saying, the sleep they've been in. It's almost as if like their tactics are defenseless. You know what I'm saying? They see that they can't win, but they still try because they're equally powerful. That's why I'm saying we both got to work together. You know what I'm saying? It can't be one or the other. If we figure out the logic and the heart and we put it together and realizing, look, all it takes is one mistake for you to be in the same position as someone that you look down on. You know what I'm saying? All it takes is one mindset for you to, you feel me, be in the same position that you toot your nose up at somebody in. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm telling you, it's crazy how the world is being tricked out of realizing how spiritual it is and how the world functions off of spirituality and the ability to spiritually captivate people's minds off of control. You know what I'm saying? To get these businesses to efficiently flow in a certain direction. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, usually the people that we don't see are the ones that could actually know what's going to happen before it happens. And so to get a control on it, they put out new rules. They put out new things that they can do to be able to captivate people's minds that may wake up to what's really going on. Because if it's been said or spoken that their whole game is a shit show, they lose. And they don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they figured out a way to win. So how about if we all win? It won't be, you feel me, one over the other. You feel me? Listen, I'm telling you, it's a new day and age now. And I feel like truly, honestly, at the end of it all, as humans, we all bleed red. You know what I'm saying? If we get hurt, if something happened to us, we all bleed. If we get sick, something happened to us, we're all sick the same. We all have to go to doctors. We all need certain things. You feel me? As humans, you can't take that away. There is nobody made of metal out here that can't be hurt or touched. You know what I'm saying? You can. So just take your heart and your logic and put it together, which is the feminine and the masculine. You put them together and figure out a way where they can work together. Life won't be in such a disarray the way it is. You know what I'm saying? But again, there's a lot of people that took their heart out of life a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? And they basically live off of money and power. But if you snatch those things out, now they have to go back to their heart, and that's some place that they've avoided for so long that it's very difficult. You know what I'm saying? And they sometimes don't want to go there, so they become enraged. You know, and spiritually, that type of evil disrupts the spiritual business of certain things in life. You know what I'm saying? It disrupts the certain care of humans, of life. You know, you got to really think of how big this structure is, because it's very huge. You know what I'm saying? It's so big that I promise you, there are people that really are upset that their plan is not working to keep people asleep, because there are more people waking up than sleep, and a lot of people are starting to see what's really going on. But again, like I said, if you're fixated on power and control and money, when you start to lose those things, sometimes it makes those people more mad. And so they figure out new tactics to be able to use power and control to get people to go back to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And I promise you, they're crafty. But you just got to stand strong in your power and know and understand that, you know what I'm saying? I seen a video by Tupac yesterday where he was explaining how there are more homeless, drug-addicted people, the masses, than there are rich. You know what I'm saying? If I use what I have to pertain to, you know what I'm saying, the homeless, low-budget masses people versus the rich, I'm always going to have a job. You know what I'm saying? Because the rich people are the only ones concerned with fooling the broke and the homeless. Hey, and that's facts. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Tupac, man, because that was facts. That was real life. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see the clip, tap into my Instagram. I have it on my story. But I feel like, because when you start to raise your energy to a certain level, people look at you as a dollar figure, especially ones that have been coerced to basically survive off money because they took their feelings out of life a long time ago. But when you're on a mission and a purpose, and the ability to still feel is something that the universe awarded you, your mission is for things to change in the world. So you're not turned on by the basic things that people normally are, which helps you have the power to stand your ground. You know what I'm saying? Wake the people up to truth. Be honest. Be real. Be you. You know what I'm saying? That's going to stand the test of time and give people the free will to make choices versus being controlled. Listen, I'm telling you, a lot of people are headstrong if you've been through trauma. You know what I'm saying? If you've been through a lot of trauma in your life, you know what I'm saying? You kind of like disassociated your way from having a heart towards people. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way people have done you. But I feel like it's a balance. You know what I'm saying? Don't get into a mindset where you don't trust, you don't love, because you could be displaying that characteristics off to the wrong people who really are trying to, you feel me, aid you in where you're going, but you're so closed off and black-hearted. You know what I'm saying? And then have logic so you can know, hey, What? I'm not going to move with my heart on this because I know that you're not in it for the right reasons and you're going to play me. And I don't got time for that. You feel me? Because I can see your intentions clearly. You feel me? So again, I'm telling y'all, it's the equal balance of the two. If we don't get control of it, the world is going to be like this still. Everybody's not going to get what they want. One wrong move can have you on the end, on the edge, and everything you thought you knew or thought you had is going to be lost. You know what I'm saying? Then you're going to be in the same predicament as the people you look down on, and then those people that you use or control to make it seem like you was never going to be in that predicament, now looking at you, you look like a fool. You know what I'm saying? So you got to realize and understand the balance that's needed. It's the brain, the logic, and the heart. Work together. We can figure out how to create balance so everyone is understanding of each other. Because without that, the world will never be the same. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be off. But like I said, there are people that are in a certain, you know what I'm saying, mission, and they're not backing down. One of those people is me. I'm not backing down from what I'm here to do. I'm not finna sidestep. I'm not finna go around the corner. I'm not gonna settle. I'm not gonna use, there's nothing you can convince me to go the opposite of what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm doing, and there's no backing down. And you are maybe in the logical money standpoint type of, okay, I see your power, but I got power too. So therefore, you want to continue this war, or you want to figure out how to work together. Because if not, the world is going to continue to be the way it is. You know what I'm saying? And hey, some people are not happy with that. So just imagine how it can come back together if we figure out a way to work together. You know what I'm saying? But realizing and understanding that life is spiritual, business is spiritual, relationships is spiritual, everything is spiritual. So if you're not going to get the, you know, the profitable refund on your spiritual business, it's because somewhere along the line, your intentions are not aligned up with what you present. Your intentions behind the scenes have a backwards effect. And people are seeing that on the back end due to your energy. And now you're losing. And you're not giving the people who spiritually invested in you back on their return. So now that has to shut down or has to go away. And that's just, it's all in controlling the masses of the mind and getting people to think a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So stop blaming it on people and take responsibility for once. You know what I'm saying? It's a so much bigger picture than what we think it is. But people who want to feel as if they never, you know what I'm saying, are going to lose power, or they're not suffering in this situation, they're blaming it, they're shifting the blame on people that are weaker in the mind, because they're going to believe it and pick it up, versus, you know what I'm saying, them having to actually deal with something that they are not getting a return on. You get me? So listen, life is spiritual. Get your spirit right and you'll be able to see through the fog. And when you can see through the fog, you will no longer bow to anyone ever again. So listen, if you don't know what it is, I just told you. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.